I prepared about 20 slides for today, and we have only half an hour, so that should be quick. So 1 minute for a slide, so it should be dynamic. This brief you saw on the schedule. We will not be talking about this, but just to mention the things which are not listed on the stock exchange, which I'm specializing. So the Witchfire released this year from the Adrian Chmielarz, and the Forever Skies was like, for me, very important releases this year. You probably heard about them, but we will focus about 7 the biggest, the most important companies in our genre, and not only not Techland, because the Techland is not listed on the stock exchange and probably won't be after buyout by Tencent this year. So a few words about me, just a quick one. So you probably heard that I wrote a book about the Polish Gamedev ecosystem, the 7 companies which will correspond to today's slides. The 3 slides would be covered by CD Projekt. The next would be the most important companies. From my side, I now work in the investment fund and focus on the Gamedev investments. Not only listed, I have made 2 non-listed, non-public investment, but they are not disclosed yet. But I believe they would be interesting. From this disclosed one, my biggest investments so far in this new fund are Drago Entertainment and Madmin Studio. So I prefer the small companies which are generating money and have about 50 people employed. So it's my sweet spot. Usually these companies are listed on New Connect, so the smaller exchange. And in my opinion, when I invest in these companies, they are underappreciated by the market. So my value is improving their valuation on the market and possibly earn money for me and my investors. I'm in the supervisory board of Anshar Studios, Untold Tales, and Image Games. So these are my side projects. Apart from that, and if you heard about the Tencent entry in the Blueber Team a few years ago, that was my idea and my best deal so far in career. So we sold in Rockbridge TFI, so it was my fund. We sold the stake to Tencent. It was 22% of the company, and the value of the transaction was 77 million zlotys. So it was a pretty decent transaction, especially that it was the small New Connect market, not the main exchange. Apart from that, I was also the shareholder in Covenant Dev, so Stand Just, and they had the release of Gord this year, and CI Games, probably you heard about Lords of the Fallen, so it's pretty important title in the brand this year. But going to the most important things, first about CD Projekt. Last days, there was obviously the DLC Phantom Liberty. Just want to show you that what was the impact of the gamers. So seems like actually it was very good, decent release, and number of players are on a decent level. So 250,000. On the release date of Cyberpunk, on the first weekend, the amount of players was above 1 million. So it's good to see the gamers are coming back to the Cyberpunk, but it was really bumpy road in terms of market value on the market. So it's only last year. I'm not showing this 5-year chart because it's not the focus on of this lecture, but let's see what's happening there. So it's a very big company, and the Polish market, it's it's in billions zlotys. So actually, the appraisal of the market appraisal of CD Projekt was near 10 billion zlotys in this 1 year dip, and the value almost doubled. And right now it's coming back to this deep value. So actually, it seems like crazy because the Phantom Liberty was a success. The game is restored, and what's happening? Why the investors are selling? And mainly, I guess it's international foreign investors. So this short sellers, the hedge funds doesn't like CD Projekt. Why? Because the value it's still. It's not on the horizon. So actually, the next game from CD Projekt would be like in a few years. Probably it would be very good. The sequel of Witcher would be maybe perfect, but no one knows when it will happen. Yes, so looking at the past and developing of AAAs, it's a big trouble to appraise a company which has a very long development cycle. But yesterday there was a investor day, so the meeting for every investors organized by CD Projekt, and there was very big announcement there. Actually, Adam Kiciński is leaving the management board, so it's going to the supervisory. And looking at this last day change in market value, so the market doesn't like that. So it was interpreted that the CEO, long-lasting CEO, is exiting. He's moving to the supervisory board, so it's transitory. But when you see the history, Marcin Iwiński already did the same path. So actually, both Marcin Iwiński and Adam Kiciński are showing that maybe it's not retirement, but it's some signals that you can interpret that, or the investors, that probably maybe in a few years they would like to drop some shares on the markets. Actually, so maybe that's a signal which is not good for the shareholders. So that was one of the points why CD Projekt was falling yesterday and the last days. But on the slide you see also that in end of July this year, CD Projekt announced redundancies. So almost 10% of the staff was fired off. So it was very strange news for me, because as you remember, a few quarters back then, CD Projekt announced very punchy strategy, and a lot of projects they should hire people, and now after a few months they have to lay off almost 10% of staff. So seems like some issues, internal issues there. So that's why this market value was so bumpy. But yeah, let's go move on to the other companies, because like I said at the beginning, we have not a lot of time for a slide. The second company I mentioned, it's CA Games, and this title, it's I think it's good for the situation. So probably you remember what happened with Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. So it was terrible release. Seems like the company have everything to do to release properly this time, especially looking at the wish list. It's very good, and the company communicated that it's on the Steam. It's the threshold of 1 million wish list was achieved, so it's very good. But the game, the budget is pretty decent, like a Polish studio. But actually, as a curiosity, the CA Games, it's almost a remote studio. So most of the people are from the Barcelona or Spain, the UK and Romania. So actually, in Poland, CA Games have a tiny team only. So it's I assess CA Games right now as a remote foreign studio, but seems like the premiere, the release of Lords of the Fallen would be big test for the company, especially looking at this Sniper 3, which I mentioned. So actually, in the history of CA games, there was a big issues with delivering big projects. So it's like binary option, left or right. So I believe that selling in, let's say, first month, so in October, if the company would sell above 1 million copies on all platforms, it would be okay, because the long tail would earn a lot of money. But if the numbers would be like 500,000, it would be terrible, because the company has debt, bank debt, and some obligations, and current market capitalization, it's about 1 billion zlotys. So it's quadrupled in last year, let's say. So the expectations are high. But so far, looking at gameplays and materials from the journalists, everything looks very good. But yeah, I don't know if the release would be good or not. But it seems like the company is on track to do that. But definitely that would be one of the most important releases this year, and the release date is 14th October. So in a 1 week or so, we will see how would it go. The next company I mentioned is People Can Fly. So on the stock exchange, it's labeled PCF Group. A lot of happened last year in the company. MS stands for Microsoft, obviously. So the company have some financial troubles after withdrawal of one of the main projects by private division, so label of Take-Two Interactive. And it's mainly work for hire studio, and the studio is very good, very big. So actually, when the publisher cut the fundings for big game, obviously you have a lot of people on the payroll and not have projects to and don't have so much money to finance internally. So it was big question mark for the company what to do. And Sebastian Wojciechowski, CEO and the main owner, I guess, did great deal, because he grabbed the work for hire contract with Microsoft. Maybe it's for Gears series. I speculate because it's confident, obviously. But looking at the portfolio of releases of PCF in the past and Microsoft, you can believe that it's some kind of shooter, obviously. So I don't know if it would be remaster, reboot, because the budget was for the investors communicated as does 50 million dollars or so. So it's pretty good. But yeah, in some time in the future we will know more about it. But it's crucial deal for PCF right now. Obviously, they cooperate still with Square Enix. Seems like sequel of Outrider is a good guess what they could be doing right now, but it's also not disclosed yet. I mentioned Meta on the title, and it's written off. That's important in that in last month the company informed investors about letter of intent with American corporation, which could finance very high budget VR games. So I believe that it's easy to underline that it was Meta, so the main VR platform, and it was looking very good for investors that this letter was communicated. But after a few weeks, the company informed that the negotiation went down. So actually there will be no this contract. And just to mention, PCF acquired a few quarters ago Incuvo, so the VR company. So seems like they have great capacity to do these projects. And you see on the screen Ballet Storm VR. I believe it's a nice fit showing why the PCF acquired VR company. Obviously, they would like to internally do the game about their own IP. So Ballet Storm is unique in the portfolio of PCF, as another IPs are on the labels publishing side. And I mentioned Krafton here because obviously the investment of Krafton invested in the company, and it was also very helpful for the financial point. And seems like Krafton would be investing in another Polish company in the future, because they are already communicated that. They are present also in the Covenant devs, these guys from the Gord I mentioned before. So about PCF, that would be it. Another company important in our community, 11-bit Studios. I guess this slide shows exactly from the conference the CEO, which is showing their pipeline, and it's really the strongest pipeline for next year or years in terms of whole Polish companies. And I believe that it's the best. 11-bit Studios could be the best company in our branch because of this diversification and strong financial standing. So I believe that if some of these releases would be successful, or I believe Frostpunk sequel is like it has to be good, because also every KPIs looks very good. The first one was great, and looking at the past, the company it's evolving, and every next game is bigger, it's more expensive, and selling much more better. So on the numbers it looks great, because when you look at their previous releases, they have no trouble to delay the game, like it's Project 8, which is like the most troublesome project in the company. But yeah, the past releases showed that you can, like investor can trust in 11-bit Studios, because they obviously know what they are doing. So this pipeline is pretty punchy, and I can't wait to see what would be the numbers and how many millions the company will earn. And what is good for the also Polish community and branch, I guess a lot of these companies, a lot of this earned money would be reinvested, because as you know, 11-bit have also label of publishing. And after successful, among others, Children of Morta title, showed that they have a good hand to stock picking in terms of projects. And probably you heard that their like strategy is Keiretsu. So it's communicated that, as in Japan, back then in the past, the companies were co-investing with another companies which were cooperating business-wise. So that's why 11-bit Studios invested in Fool's Theory, because they were doing the common project, the Thaumaturg. So which is releasing potentially pretty soon. So that would be the first check of the company, which is like also company connected by equity. And in terms of the Invincible, which also is not internal project, it's Star Wars Industries. Also, there was the similar thing. So investment by 11-bit Studios invested in the company, another company which was actually listed on the stock exchange. So seems like this Keiretsu rule, it's going into force. So I believe that due to this strong pipeline, there are no moves, no new projects on this table. But after the delivery of these games, I believe that there will be more and more interesting projects from this company. So really can't wait to see them. In terms of Blueber Team, I believe apart from Silent Hill, a lot of a lot of speculation, but on the Tokyo Game Show, there was only the anniversary of the second franchise, which is one of the best horrors in the genre. But Silent Hill, it's like, let's see what Konami shows during a few weeks, but because they communicated the press conference and probably we'll see some gameplay. But I believe the most important topic in Blueber Team was this star thing, and I will mention that's only my speculation right now, but in Polish daily business daily Puls Biznesu, Piotr Babieno, the CEO, hinted that they are doing like a Blueber Team is doing the game about the huge IP from the Hollywood, which is going to the stars. So I believe that there is not a lot of movies or franchises in the Hollywood which I can recall about the stars. So that's my two guesses, and probably looking at this all speculations, I believe that Blueber Team can possibly is doing one of these titles. So that could be big for mid-sized company, and connecting that to the previous acquisition from the last month, the Blueber acquired majority stake in Witchfire. It's a small VR company. Actually, I believe that some lecture from the Witchfire I saw on the list, so they are here. So I'm pretty curious when the game will be available and what will be the delivery. But looking at Blueber past, looking at franchises deal with Lionsgate, so Blair Witch, it was pretty good. Maybe the success of the commercial side was not spectacular, but looking at deals with Game Pass and subsidies in the company, seems like this could be maybe game changer for company if the deal was negotiated well. So that could be the motive for the next months. In terms of Playway, which is one of the biggest companies in terms of number of employees, in terms of number of companies in the group, I believe only one game which matters right now is the sequel of the House Flipper. So actually looking at the numbers, almost perfect majority of financial results could be explained by House Flipper and Car Mechanic Simulator franchises. So and in the companies connected to the Playway group are above or about 100 companies. So only two studios in the group are actually important in terms of investors. And the House Flipper sequel will release end of the year in December, so that would be very nice test for the company. And last days there was the release of Thief, so it was also one of the most important franchises in the group, and the release of the sequel was just okay. So the expectations were bigger, but House Flipper was on the Game Pass, sold significantly more than 1-2 million copies. So it's it's the crown in this group. So I'm pretty curious what will happen in December. But yeah, this game should sell well. It seems like it's I don't like simulators, but definitely that's the money earner for the company. The smallest company in terms of staff, not market capitalization, but have to mention also about the Crypy Jar, which has like quiet period right now because the Green Hell is selling well, but we are quarters or years after the release. to remind, it was the early access, the co-op, and the full release on all platforms. So the market is expecting the next project, Chimera, would have comparable success, but we have to remember that Crypy Jar was a startup, so they made great game. The stuff is very good. It's obviously Techland guys from the Warsaw branch, but it's very hard to release second game also which such a success. So the expectations are high, but the first announcement of the project was, for me, was disappointing. For investors probably also. Gamers, I guess, also looking at views on YouTube and so on, they could be better looking at Greenhill. So but obviously that would be the main dependent for the market valuation in the future. And looking at the market valuation in the long term, let's look that it's also million zlotys here, so it's about $10 million right here when they enter on the market in 2018. So after this successful Greenhill, the market cap jumped to the three quarters of billion, so 750 million zlotys, and after that, the valuation is going down, but the company is earning money. It's paying annually the dividend, so it's a very healthy company, but with no visibility to scale up and do 2-3 projects, because they don't have to. They have money. They have passion to do one project, and they own the company. But this valuation I mentioned. Just to compare with the true rebels, like I wrote here, so the rebel wolves, I'm still impressed on what valuation the company grabbed, and the Konrad Tomaszkiewicz, so ex-CD Projekt, on what valuation the company grabbed the money from the Asian guys. So NetEase invested in Rebel Wolves in their RPG, and looking at the financial statement, it's not public company, but everyone can look at these papers in the internet. And I look at this balance sheet, and I was like, that's impossible. From my numbers, it seems like it was 751 million market capitalization. It's crazy. So the startup grabbed the appraisal of the Crypy Jar after success in the market bonanza after COVID. So I'm pretty impressed. What great negotiators were here, and it's not typical that the investors, so Asian guys here, gave all money in advance. So actually, if I would be an investor in such a project, like a publisher, normally you could do the tranches, milestones. So a lot of money on the bank account. So it seems like the company have time to deliver their own Witcher. But would like to mention that like an 8 company, which definitely are looking at like a summary for last year in the Gamedev in Poland. Yeah, great job to do this, and let's hope they deliver the game, because obviously they have the stuff to do that. But looking at startups, I know only Crypy Jar, maybe Forever Skies are right now the companies which delivered a significant potential in terms of financials to show this market appraisal at these levels. And coming back to the ending part, and why I believe the winter is coming. So looking at the it's not only Polish local issue. I believe the main issue is the publisher. So looking at the especially Embracer but also other publisher like 505, which withdrawn a few publishing agreements in Poland. So we saw that. I believe the inflation, the higher rates, and lack of IPOs and smaller amount of transactions on the M&A market shows that the worst times is coming. But I believe that the most impacted would be the smaller companies. So these guys we mentioned here, the 7-8 companies, I'm sure they will have money and have capacity to stay with that, but the smaller companies would be mostly affected. And at the ending, I found some data about Embracer, which could be interesting in terms of other countries. And look what happened with the valuation of Embracer. It's from the 2017, and they are now. So it's like, it looks like a shitcoin. So that's crazy, because it was about $14 billion, and now it's only we have it here. So it's like $2.5 billion. So actually, it's similar to CD Projekt. So, but the scale was of this drop in share was significant. And remember that Embrace in previous years was acquiring very aggressively another companies, and they paid in own shares. So actually, they were on the shopping spree. And now, when we see the information that Embrace and it's selling. It's selling the Borderlands owner, so Gearbox. Seems like they changed the strategy. And why is that? This drop in market valuation was like spectacular. It was 40% one session, so it was crazy. And it was after the companies communicated to the market that the main deal, which company communicated that would be signed in weeks, which could improve financial statements of the company, would not happen. And actually, looking at the shareholder structure of Embracer in previous quarters, the Saudi investment fund invested 5% of the shares of the Embracer. So the market speculated that the Saudis decided not to invest more, and seems like the company was sure to grab this money. So the petrodollars probably would not go to the Embracer. So yeah, that was this in the annual terms, the minus 50%, another minus 50%. Looks scary, but looking at 2020, so even if in Poland we had like market bonanza, but when a company evaluated at $10 billion, so actually it was $10 billion was roughly the capitalization of CD Projekt in the high of the market. We have to show you like last slides. This is return on investment from the Embracer. So just quickly, let's see its ROI. So one, it's like it's in the next quarters, it's going worse. So I believe that's showing that another games are selling not well in Embracer, and they have like whole ecosystem. So that's the problem maybe of the whole branch, not only the Embracer. And final slide, if you don't know, I also published on Amazon translated version of my book about CD Projekt. So if you'd like to read my version of the CD Projekt history, please look at the Cyberpunk Millions in Billions Out. It's only $10. And this on the right side, it's the teaser of the new front page of my Polish book, which will be like in the second edition with this label. So actually, that's it. If you need contact to me, it's here. We don't have time for Q&A, but you can ask me after or at the party in the evening. I'm here. So thank you for your time, and I'm passing the microphone to the next speaker. Thank you.